This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah.
I will guarantee it won't be up to your specs by hydro season.
Okay, that's what I need to know. So the other thing is, so I'm looking at tractor. I want my kids to fight over when I'm dead.
Yeah,
So I'm looking at a John Deere 730.
okay, or if you want to go a little bit.
Okay,
more
we'll call the meeting to order.
738 or 730.
Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
I would go with Baker because you have
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Oh, wait.
Do you want to look at the agenda before we approve it, Brian?
Look at it when it came out earlier, so if there's not been any additions to
or
it,
corrections?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? And meeting minutes from January 18th.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Opposed?
I shall abstain. So I wasn't here.
Monthly financial reports. We have 2 monthly, this November and December.
Yeah, because remember we had.
Yeah.
So Kim gave, I know you requested 3 months, we got 2. Yeah, we'll have November. And I would like to say we do have that, but I'm afraid we don't.
Did we approve December already? It was just for our, we hadn't seen him at all. Yep. Is there anything we should know about them?
No, you can see the amount of money. I know it's hard to read, unless you're a financial person. So you can see the amount of money EDA has on hand and the revolving loan fund we have. The Rochester sales tax money, which is being set aside for industrial park. If you have any questions, let me know if I can answer them. If not, I can have Kim answer them. Expenses are below.
Just a small item on the January 1, change the year to 23.
That's a good idea.
Make a motion to approve the December and January financial reports.
Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's passed. Public hearings, none. Old business. The promotional book. And then there was a memo in the packet. Yep, you're up.
So it's like they talked to Steve Tice, and he gave me a quote of last year of $8,000, and he gave me a quote this year for half the quantity, $7,400. So basically, inflation is it's about the same. So I don't know what your commitment is. I guess last year you guys gave $5,000. And I guess it'd be nice to get at least, I'd like to ask for more, but at least 5,000 minus the 600 difference in his lower quote by 600. But I mean, it's kind of your show and then it'll be my show. Also, last year in 19 and a half pages of kind of public material, And I'd adjust that however you guys want. Anyway, we put in a lot of work last year.
So do you think that where the costs are right now and getting half as many, that you're still unwilling to put all that effort into it?
Yeah, because we already put a ton of effort.
Did you?
Well, I mean, the first time we did, so the first is the toughest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first, now it's, I'm not saying it's gravy, but it's a hell of a lot easier than doing 19 and a half pages of material.
Yeah.
I mean, making changes, there are a few additions or changes, or Kurt sends me new photos. I mean, doing stuff like that's a lot easier than creating it all from the beginning.
But you're still the one responsible for going around and selling to the businesses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was asking
So
about.
there's two things I'm asking this group to do, and whatever is in their mind or heart, and I would decide the price of the advertising on this. And that's your level of financial commitment. And then any changes you want to make, and then distribution, which I'd already talked to you about, Kurt, because you guys did, I don't have the copy with me anymore, but explore Minnesota, stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I don't think, I mean, half the quantity we printed 10,000 last time, and that was more than we needed.
So if we, Scott, because I wasn't a part of it last time, if we were to say give, $5,000, would you give all those to me and then have me distribute them to the places that need to go? Or do you keep some? Just because I wasn't aware of the last time. Because we have a couple.
Yeah,
boxes.
well, it was intended to be, give them all to Ryan and you guys, but
Get them to the place.
so you kind of know my dad. I don't know how much all you guys do. I am guessing, and I think you know Brian, given his personality, and he would regularly go out here and fill out that box, even though it wasn't his job, but he just cared about it, I guess. So, but I can't promise what he's going to do, but I'd be shocked if he didn't. But mostly anything outside this area would be your job. If it would be getting him to advertisers, we could certainly do that. People who advertise, they probably want some, you'd want some. If the hotel did it again, they went, I told you last time, they went through a ton of them, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And then we had people, if they were going on a trip or something like that, they would ask for some to take with them. And
Right.
we tried putting them in rest areas and things like that.
Well, that's what the talk was last time, and Ryan promised that. And I'm not saying I trust you. By the way, thanks for the calendar. Yeah, it sounds like it'd be an easy thing, but I don't think it was done a lot. Because he talked about there's people going places all over from Zumbrota, and they go all over, and they're going to drop them off in all these places. And I don't know how much it really happened. You wouldn't even know. I don't know. You what?
There was a number of us that took them to different places.
So you did?
Yep, and then Dylan had called or contacted all of them. And then they ordered as well, so we'd have to send them. And we'd send them
Oh,
to
good.
a full box, or a lot of them didn't want many.
No, but you did.
I wonder, like, which one.
Okay.
There was
You still have girls in dance then?
adult.
No, did you?
Did I?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you went on like a dance
Let me
trip
think.
Oh.
It's been 2 years since I did that.
2 years ago.
No, well, maybe it was a kid, so maybe.
But I think what needs to be done this time is, that didn't get done last time, is that now we have some copies. So you should be looking at it and going, what do we want to say about Zumbrota? Do we want to change any of this copy? Do we want to add more pictures? Do we want to talk more about the festival? There's not much in there about it because we were in flux at that time and didn't really know what we were going to do. So
Like rerun all the bridge historical information.
right, but maybe there's some other things that we want to talk about or say.
Frankly, you can change as much as you want,
Mhm.
but I don't expect we're gonna come up with a lot of new copy. So, but I'll change as much or whatever you want. And if you can kind of shoot for about the same quantity of pages, I mean, 19 and a half is what we had last time.
Okay.
The promotional budget for 2023 is $7,000 for EDA. Not to say you can't spend more out of another line item if something else comes up, but you do have $7,000 in pay.
So doing the math on 19 and a half pages, I rounded it up to 20. 20 pages at 215 is going to be $4,300. 5,000, which we contributed last time, minus the 600, which is the difference. We're at $4,400. Oh,
So we're pretty close.
How many copies are you seeing?
5,000 half. Last time it was 10,000. We had them coming out of our ears.
Still have a few in our ears.
with 5,000, are we hoping to still do 2 years?
I think
Have to see.
we were trying to do it every year, but because of COVID and everything, we just didn't get it done. So I think we'll see how many we have, see if we need to do it again.
They're all gone.
Yeah, that was one of the factors. And the other factor was we've got so many copies. Why would we?
So I think we'll just have to address it again.
And COVID really messed stuff up in terms of Cover Bridge Festival too, which should have been probably a bigger draw and or a bigger focal point. Maybe not.
Yeah, now it's scheduled again. Do we have a year in front of that?
We did,
Yes.
Maybe we don't put a year on.
right? And that's why I was just curious if we're gonna shoot for 1 year or 2 years, because it would affect, obviously, if people are having events going on, like the Cover Bridge Festival, you really have to be generic. You can't put specific dates in.
Should be dates now, but
Well, you'd have to be third weekend in,
Yeah.
or whatever, second weekend in September instead of
Yep.
physical dates.
I think it was a good thing, we, of the 10,000, we gave out quite a few. Took a box somewhere not so long ago.
Yeah, I told Brian I mailed a box to Moorhead in December, so they should have plenty. As far as the Covered Bridge Festival, a little side note, the Shriners called and they're excited about coming back to it, so. That was an interesting call. Those little guys, those. So they like the parade, but so 5,000 copies. And I have that. I think, Pete, what I'm going to do is give you a copy of the RDT tour, the CETA tour photos that were taken, and you can kind of pick what would work for your expertise.
Okay.
Because they've been signed over to us, so they would be nice in the updated photos.
There's quite a few too.
Are you in any of them?
What?
Are you in any of them?
Not the photo. Just the video.
Any thoughts on how much we want to contribute?
Brian, what else do we use that money for? For promotions? Have you guys EDA used it in the past?
Don't we give money to the Red Wing
We have done
Today
the
magazine
banner for,
so that the advertisers, the downtown or whoever wants to advertise from Zimbrota, I don't know how much that is. I can't remember.
Right, that hasn't come across. I haven't dealt with that yet.
So yeah, in the years past, we paid for some of that. So the advertising is a little bit less for,
And like I said, I couldn't tell how much that runs by any means.
I don't know. I can't remember. I think that's the only one, maybe in Rochester Women's Magazine, maybe, but I'm not positive.
Last year, we don't even have a number at all. for expenditures under promotional budget last year. We had 6,400 in there and I don't see any expenditures reflected on the budget here.
From the year, I don't remember.
Sure.
We
Anything.
didn't do any of the books last year.
What was the year before?
5,300.
That was the book. So we did
5,000, so
for the-
300 was the banner or whatever.
300 was the extra.
I don't know. That's where, can't remember.
Well, I know this was 5,000. I don't know. Brian, were
That
you,
was the sole reason why we upped our budget, was to cover additional books.
Yep, there's an extra $1,600 in there than there was in 2021.
were you the one that was here that, I think part of this thing started because people said they wanted all these other projects like you're referring to. And then I can't remember if it was you or previous. And they said, we like more control over it instead of just putting it in Rochester, putting it in Red Wing.
That sounds like
And-
previous.
Previous, okay.
Control. But yeah, I think it started before I came, but it didn't finish up until after I was here.
Right. That's why I was kind of confused. I was thinking about it.
So one, we have to decide, do we want to do it again? And two, we have to decide how much we want to give to it. If we want to do it.
I think we have to do it.
I'll make a motion for 5,000, donation for a cost of 5,000.
I'll second that, Bob.
Any discussion? Go straight to, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thanks, guys.
Now the work begins.
Huh?
David.
Now the work begins.
Now the work begins. Hey, one other thing, because
Can
I'm
we-
sidetracking
Can
stuff.
we all take a book home? And have, then all of our eyes can just be on
You
it
ch-
if
you
we
have
see
them,
something
right?
different, so it doesn't all fall on Kurt.
So do that on all the copy. That would be
So then it's not
great.
just you. I know we all have lived in this neighborhood, and so that might help you out just a little bit. Take a little pressure off your shoulder.
Do it, Kurt.
Completely switching subjects. His daughter plays basketball for Indiana, the Hoosiers. Maybe you knew that, maybe you didn't. They're number 2 in the nation. They played Iowa, who had been ranked really high. I watched that game. His daughter's a freshman and she got in key minutes at the end of the game, primarily due to foul trouble, but still, I mean, she was backup center going in and going to the line when the game was on the line. So anyway,
Bulletin article.
Kudos.
Exciting.
is there?
Big post bulletin article.
Yeah, deserving.
Nice.
Yeah, we need one too.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway. Yeah,
It's been pretty cool.
it is cool.
Fun to watch, too. You know about the Big Ten.
Yeah, they're all on Big Ten or now ESPN, so like a lot of,
Yeah, when you get
lot of
that
interest.
high.
Hey, just playing.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Pete.
Good night, you.
So new business, Creative Starts Academy.
Yeah, well, I got, as far as, to kind of let you guys know in the EDA that I got contacted by Creative Stars Academy. In December, I was on the phone leaving messages with various daycare centers in Red Wing and Rochester. And awkwardly, 30 days later, a guy named Jay from this organization called and said, yeah, we're interested. And I was, to tell you the truth, I kind of thought it was a prank, like, really? And so I told him about the senior center and what is available. And it's a great story because I said, well, we as EDA offer financing if you need it, low interest loans. No, we have a finance team and we have a licensure team, so I don't think I need to talk to you anymore. So I was, oh, okay. So as far as I know at this point, that's a very good thing for cities in Broda, getting a daycare center. And then they have infant care,
You're gonna put it in where, in the,
senior center, yeah.
in the nursing home? Under there where the, okay.
It's good for the schools because they're still paying the lease down there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty anxious to get out of that. And they're a faith-based organization, and yeah, I just thought I'd share that with, because that was really good news
Awesome.
That is good news.
for the future. Yeah.
Super.
And then secondly, I was going to kind of, we, as Munira and I, my fellow CETA colleague, have applied for a grant for 2 EV chargers. And what I want to bring to you is that if we get that grant, it should be fantastic for the city, because Excel will cover to set up the EV chargers, and then that grant would cover the cost of EV charger. And the company Blink, as you can see here, would actually run the chargers for 5 years. And our thought was, and I ran this by Mike Olson, where to put them. And there, you can see on the right, the picture of the dual charger. So we can get a couple of those dual chargers, because, the state of Minnesota is going to have laws coming down with, that are going to be beneficial for EVs, electric vehicles. And with our city having a vibrant downtown, and a lot of people come out of the cities to shop down in downtown Zumbrota, more and more EVs are going to be around. And so we sit between the cities and Rochester. There's a corridor there, and there isn't any EV charging. There's one in Cannon Falls. It's well off the or off of 52, but Zumbrota would be prime for a couple EV chargers. And with the library here and the bridge and downtown, we thought that the public lot across from the Goose put a couple. Now, that doesn't mean you can't park in those spots, but they'll be marked. So let's say we get a dual charger, we'll put it there, and they'll be marked with signs and be painted, and so people can pull and park. If the lot's full, there are people who don't drive EVs could park there. Another spot, we thought maybe somebody requested put one in the lot right outside here, because of people coming down. It's easy walk downtown. But what I'm bringing to you guys is, if we don't get the grant, I think it may be something we pursue as EDA for purchasing. And you can see the price. We are a member of what's called Sourcewell as a city. And so, the prices are high, but I'll tell you the truth, they're not as high as I thought they were going to be in this situation, but I don't deal with EVs very often. So I guess what I'm saying is, this is just a heads up for the grant is due February 28th. So we'll submit it. And then if we don't get it, we may be coming back and saying, hey, can we still get this? And if we don't, then we don't. So.
Are these universal for all?
Yeah, they're level 2 chargers.
Okay.
So I believe from what so like if you get a level 3 charger, that's like your Tesla, and they'll charge like in 30 minutes. These things take a little longer to charge, but they're far more common. So you could pull up your Nissan Leaf or your, I assume a Tesla charges on one of these.
They got different plugs, I thought.
Do they? So
I don't
to
know.
charge a Tesla, you have to have a Tesla charge.
I'm not an expert, I'm just sure.
Right, yeah,
So then people pay to get
right. There'd be a
electricity?
credit card,
Oh,
just like getting gas, and, yeah.
Have you checked other products?
I have, there's other charge points, another one.
Just be interested to compare prices versus this Blink
Right, yeah.
versus other, just we have something else to go by.
I'll grab some other prices. The reason I got
Grant
Blink,
specific to blank?
yeah.
Yeah.
Blink works with communities like Zumbrota. They worked with Cresco, Iowa. One of my colleagues from CETA worked in Blink, was a company working with them. That's kind of why I went with Blink.
Yep.
But I'll check other.
It'd just be interesting to see what the other prices are versus.
Yeah, well,
And it depends, like, because Sourcewell is a cooperative purchasing agency. So whatever they've got to offer, you won't get that price.
and I joined Sourcewell through this. I joined the city with Sourcewell, and I ran it by Matt Rockney and everything, the contract. The school is associated with Sourcewell and Zumbrota up schools. So it lowers the price a little bit. So, yeah, just a heads up for you guys.
No reports. Is there a motion to adjourn? Second.
Second.
Meeting adjourned?
Adjourned.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.